It's hard to know just how much water, both sea and fresh, that pours through here each tide. One man, however, calculates the balance between both each day, and for very good reason.
Did you just wake up one morning and think, I'm going to make sea salt now for a living? How did it come about?
It wasn't quite as simple as that. We're running an aquarium next door, and that's busy in summer, but we had to have an idea of what to do to make an income in winter. And we thought, what are all the good things we've got? What have we got going for us? And we pay the Queen for seawater, and we know it was clean seawater. So we thought, what are all the things you can do with seawater? And one of the wackiest things in our brainstorming was to think, well, people make sea salt out of seawater, and we've got good seawater.
Not just good, but exceptional. A gift from nature that was just outside the door, waiting to be harvested.
Now, you couldn't work, of course, without the tides, without the sea here. The tides bring the salt in, and each day you know how much you're going to be able to collect, depending on the tides.
Yeah, they're absolutely critical because I'm relying on clean seawater coming in from the Gulf Stream with the tides. The sheer quantity of water coming into the Straits is just staggering. We're taking out about a swimming pool's worth a day, but our pumps and pipes, which we can show you, they'll only work from half tide upwards, one of them. So the tide's got to be covering the pipe before we can pump up, because we actually want to pump from well below the surface because I don't want any rainwater coming up, because that sits on the top. And then our other secret natural advantages both depend on the tides, because our other pump and pipe, we're actually using the mussel bed in front of us under this seawater as a natural filter. So there's about 2,000 or 3,000 tons of mussels under the sea here, and each one of those is filtering 9 pints an hour. So we're using them to filter as well, and then we have to test the water as well. And
which is a very precise process in terms of the moisture content particularly.
That's right. So I'm checking at the raw end of it, I'm checking the amount of salt in the seawater, and when we get to the other end, when we finish drying the salt, I'm checking how much moisture there is left in the salt. So tides are absolutely critical to us, and I like an excuse to come down at lunchtime and have my walk on the beach, but that's just for fun.
That's an aside.
Yes.
The process is simple, the idea, a touch of Anglesey genius.
You've got customers not only across the UK, but across the world.
That's right, and we are amazed that it's taken off in the way it has, because there were 3 or 4 very hard years where people thought, God, these crazy people in Anglesey, what are they doing, charging so much for something? But then the 2 fat ladies started to use it, and then more chefs started to use it, and now we've reached a point where the 2 top restaurants in the world, Heston Blumenthal and the Fat Duck, and Ferranadri and El Bulli, they use it, and it's about 7 or 8 of the world's top 50 restaurants are using it.
They can't all be wrong, but David and the company's marketing skills help, and he's targeting far beyond the usual outlets.
But the amazing thing is that it's not just for food, is it, this salt?
Yes, that's surprising. We thought initially that it was the food market was the only one, but since then people have found us. We found the lady using it with homeopathy. Some people use it for doing their teeth, for gargling.
And just to use around the home, to cleanse the home, is that right? In bowls? You can just have it in bowls?
Yeah, some people just put it as a bit like a potpourri. But my hobby's organic gardening, for example, and I've used it for a new use only in the last week. I've got a walnut tree that's only produced 2 walnuts, but this year it's produced 200. So I went back to Mrs. Beaton, and it says, take 100 green walnuts, put them in a strong brine of sea salt. I thought, oh, I can do that.
I have no shortage of that.
Yes.
There's also no shortage of pride in what the company's done and where it's located.
So where does it go from here? Because you've had over a decade of making sea salt now, and you've really boomed over the last few years. So what do you see happening now?
Well, we'd like to build and expand and make a sustainable building. And we've got planning permission for a sustainable building with a grass roof. We'd just like to go on growing slowly and employing more people. And although 14 full-time jobs doesn't sound like a lot, we're the main employer of these 2 small villages on Anglesey, and that really gives me a buzz.